The remote raids have been updated. Obviously, we do know that. And like I did tell you guys yesterday, I'm gonna give you all of my recommendations of what I suggested to be able to change the remote raid system in Pokemon Go and in-person raids to help out the global issue that's underlying in the remote raid system, which I do believe in from coming from back in the day to currently. However, I don't exactly agree with the way that it's being handled. One of the biggest issues for the remote raid system is that it does not promote community. It allows people to be away from community and not participate in community as much. As I have transcended through many years and many generations in Pokemon Go, my favorite times in Pokemon Go still to date have always been when we had a lot of people out at raids and we did all these things together. So I do agree with the fact that remote raids do need to change. Whether or not you guys agree with me on this, I do agree upon that. However, I do think that there is a much better way to go about this system than just to limit the passes and not give adequate solutions. As you guys do know in my channel, whenever I am talking about anything, I'm always about positive reinforced feedback. I do not care for negative feedback. This sucks. What does that really do for us? It doesn't do anything for us. Does it support anything? Does it support the game? Does it support fellow creators? Does it support fellow trainers? It does absolutely nothing to be negative about things. So what I'm going to give you today is my list of how I think that changes in Pokemon Go would globally benefit the system, and that comes starting off with the in-person raiding experience. Number one, the raid bosses are super stale. Let's not fool anybody out here that nobody is leaving their house for the fourth time back being an incarnate Landorus. Let's be really honest with you. Nobody really needs the shiny, and if you do, it's probably newer players. It's not an exciting raid boss. It doesn't do anything crazy out there. It is not one of the top attackers in the game. So going out of your way at a consistent basis for raid bosses that are not super effective in the game is always going to be something that will rate limit the amount of people that are willing to come out of their house. So I think that that is a massive thing that is challenging for us, and that is one of the reasons why there aren't so many people coming out for the raids, which is totally understandable because I don't have that much motivation to come out. I absolutely love raid hours on Wednesday and I love hosting the raid hours. However, I may be out of the ordinary in going out and participating in raid hours. And the second issue that I have with this decision is that there's a lot of new players, maybe some of you guys watching this video, maybe most of you guys watching this video, I don't really know, that remote raids have always been a part of Pokemon Go for you. So now that they're going to limit the way that you play Pokemon Go, that's how you only know how to play Pokemon Go, is a little bit of a challenging experience for me to navigate with you. I can for surely guarantee you that if you play in person, it's a much more rich experience. You get to meet more people, you have to make more friendships, have more encounters with people, and the global celebration of Pokemon Go is really, really cool. So I'm not opposed to that situation either. I really like the in-person play. I used to, on times, play in Calm Day in cars to try to get more shinies. I no longer do that at all. I don't really care to play in cars. I really like to be outside. I like to be in nature. I have relinquished the ability to need to get so many of everything and really experience nature, enjoyment, conversation, and then those benefits will also come with shinies. I don't need that extra 10 shinies on Calm Day. I'm perfectly fine with 25 to 30. I don't need 40 to 50. But as I did mention in the other video, that remote raids have also added in a ton of value, especially when Pokemon Go is a limited game for during the day. After 10 p.m., yes, you can go and battle, you can go and trade, but you can't still participate in raids. Let's say that you work a night shift and you've got some time during your lunch break and it's 2 a.m., you're not going to be able to do that many raid battles. So having the ability to play after the Pokemon Go day has ended would be a very beneficial experience for a lot of people. So we're going to outline that all starting right now. So in order for me to outline this, I need to stress that my focus here of the first part is to improve in-person raiding, because that will drive more people out than limiting remote raiding. For me, if you can incentivize people to do what you want, which is get out, explore, communicate, have community, you have to incentivize those things, not limit the thing that is enjoyable, right? This doesn't make sense. The conversation has to be consistently on the community, the in-person raids, the experience over here. If I limit this, that doesn't mean that, oh, this is limited. Oh, let me just go do this instead. I don't ever see that correlation happening. Okay, I'm limiting this. Now I'm sour about this. Oh, but you want me to do this? I don't think I'm going to do that either because now I'm sour that you made this decision. So in order for me here, one of the things that I did suggest is that you can do 2 raids in person, and then if you do that 2 raids, you get a third free raid in a consistent timely basis, similar to as we do have on Calm Days, where there's a 4-star raid and you do have 30 minutes of spawn around there. If you had 30 minutes to be able to participate in a third raid for free, if you did 2 in-person raids, I feel like that'd be pretty valuable. Not only that, boosting the rewards from in-person raids would drastically drive more people out, in my opinion. If you change the 10,000 XP to 15,000 XP from in-person raids, you could increase the Stardust from in-person raids from 1,000 for the legendary raids to something around 3,000 or 5,000. So if you are on a star piece, you're getting a significant amount of Stardust from going out and raiding. And then additionally, you could double the candy coming out of raids, and then you could double the XL candy coming out of raids. So now, if we just take that, I haven't even gone into any of my more strategies, and you're getting more XP, more Stardust, you're getting double the amount of XL candy for that Pokemon coming out of that raid battle. Now, I'm gonna have to take twice the amount of battling of this remote raid to get to a level 50 Pokemon, right? 296 XL candy. Or I can do it in person and I can half that. Using a Mega level 3 Pokemon would increase that significantly. So now we're looking at something that was a little bit harder to do to easier to do in person. So now my goal here for myself is to drive myself into person raids because I'm gonna be able to max out Pokemon at a much cheaper ratio. And let's be real, most of our goals when doing a vast amount of raids is number 1 to get a shiny, number 2 to get XL candy, number 3 to get a hundo, or number 4 to get a shundo. And by me doing all of these things here helps because obviously if I get 100% IV, I get a shundo, or whatever the situation is over here, I get the ability to be able to max out those Pokemon at an easier rate. And for me, if I do this, I just incentivize all these in-person raids. Everybody that wants to remote raid doesn't even feel slighted. But what's gonna happen here is that these remote raiders are gonna be like, hey, on their own free thought and will, maybe I can do more in-person raids because if I do more in-person raids, I will get more rewards and it won't have to cost me so much to max out all these Pokemon that I desperately want to max out because they're so cool. I would love to be able to max out more Pokemon, but the cost of these Pokemon is in and around $40 to $50 per legendary to max out right now. But if you could change that to about $20 to $25, it would be a much more rich experience. Let me know what you guys think about that. And so for me, layering these bonuses on top of each other for the in-person raids makes it so much more of a rich experience. Not only could you incentivize people in that mannerism, but you could also increase the base floor of in-person raids to 11, 11, 11 or 12, 12, 12, which would mean that you get a much higher chance of getting a good quality or a hundo coming out of the in-person raids. So now you take my first layer with my second layer, and man, these in-person raids are looking pretty tasty for us. As your first interaction of the day, the chances of becoming lucky friends increases by 2. So not only do you have all of these rewards coming from there, not only do you have the ability to get a free raid, not only do you have the ability to get a higher IV Pokemon, now if you raid with your people in person, which drives even more community, you're gonna increase the chances of becoming lucky friends at an in-person raid. So now if we're layering all these things on, I'm not disempowering the remote raid. I haven't even touched the remote raid system, but look at this. I'm much more incentivized. I am personally, I'm gonna hit up all my friends locally and be like, hey guys, you wanna meet up at 9 a.m. every morning? We can do a raid together. We could do 1 or 2 raids. If we do 2 raids, guys, on the level 3 raid, we'll be able to do it for 3. So we can hit 3 raids together every single morning. Number 1, we can potentially get lucky friends. If we do get lucky friends on the spot, I'd be more than happy to trade with you guys in person because we are driving in-person interaction. And then as a final icing on the cake, increase the rare XL candy coming out of in-person raids, which there already is XL candy rare coming from the raids. However, it's not at a high ratio. Right now, I've done a lot of in-person raids and I have about 280 rare XL candy, which I will be making a video of that pretty soon because I'm excited to max out a Pokemon that I do have that is pretty rare. However, I do believe that with all this layered in, there's no reason why people would not choose in-person raids over remote raids when they have that capability as a much higher driven incentive over that. So if I were to present that in our Pokemon Go to all of you guys, what would you think about this scenario? Would you be like, okay, I'm gonna go for this? Or would you be like, okay, well, what about the remote raids? Because I'm not touching the remote raids. I wanna keep these as a part of the game. I find value in them. There's global communities that have been created at a much higher ratio over here. But over here, we now have the ability to drive in person. And now I can invite some people over here if I want. And then additionally, there was one more incentive that I did propose. I would really like it to be an in-person tiered system for the local raid battles. Meaning, if you have 3 in-person raiders, you would unlock tier bonus 1, which could be a smaller variation of what I mentioned before. If you have 5 in-person raiders, you unlock tier 2, which would mean that you get almost all of the benefits. And then if you have 7 or 10 in-person raiders, you would unlock a tier 3 bonus reward, and that would include the most amount of rewards that you could get, which would drive further incentive for me in my local community to start reaching out to people and starting to collaborate raids and be like, hey guys, every single morning, like I talked about, we're gonna meet here. If we have 10 of you guys, not only will we have the increased chance of becoming lucky friends with all of you guys if we're all best friends, guys, if we do this raid, we could potentially get 9 XL candy for Lugia per raid. Holy smokes, that's insane. If we do 10, we're at 90 XL candy. That's crazy. And then if we do a grand total of 30 raids, we could potentially have 296 XL candy or pretty close to it. Wow, that would be really cool. Yeah, let's do that every morning. We'll meet up at the local spot, local park, Drake Park in Oregon, and we'll all do these raids together. We're gonna increase our community. And guys, when that starts happening, the tier system would start tipping in the favor of in-person raids. Everybody would be driven to do in-person raids. Campfire would be lit up more. There would be much more incentive for you to even get friends in the local community, because all those local friends could then become lucky friends at a higher ratio. There's so much that we could do out here. I would love to see this happen, but as of right now, this is what I propose. Let me know what you guys think. Share this video if you find it valuable, you find that it would really help in Pokemon Go. I'm here to help you guys as much as I can. I'm helping you as much as I can on every single front possible, but I just wanted to give you guys some of the things that I thought of. I really like these ideas, and we'll see if they get implemented in the future. But more comments, the more shares, and the more views on this video, which equals more eyes and more influence that we can have. So I appreciate you guys being here as always. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. To all my likers, comments, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes their support, subscription, participation to next level. I'm gonna see you guys out in the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.